Let's take a look at bump and displacement channels. So what I'm going to do first is drop a cube in the scene, and I'm going to try and make something that's going to kind of look like a wall. All right, so we'll just pull this out like this. Let's go ahead and turn on our lines so we can see what's going on. I'm going to change this to 10, 10, and 10. So we have a lot of geometry here. I'm going to go ahead and convert this over by clicking the Make Editable. So now we have a cube that's been converted into a polygon object, and it has a decent amount of geometry here built into it. Okay, so let's come over here and create a material. So we'll double click here, and we get our material. We double click the material, we get the material editor. Let's go over to the bump channel. I'm going to click on bump. I'm going to come down here to texture. I'm going to go to surfaces, and let's grab this brick. I'm going to go ahead and go into the brick by clicking on it. And we have a bunch of parameters here. I think most of these can stay as is. We can change the color of the brick, the gap. Let's see. We want to change any of this. Maybe play around with the gap color. We could change that a little darker if we wanted. You can see how it updates here. You can just play around with this stuff and get it exactly how you want it. We could go with the depth, play with that. Let's go over here and let's enable some dirt. So we get a little dirt on our wall. And again, you can come in here and just play with this stuff until you get something that looks exactly the way you like it. Now I want to come back up a level by clicking on this arrow. And I want to change the strength to 80%. I'll just type in 80% there. Next, what I'm going to do is come over here to the bump. We'll go up here and we will copy the channel. Then we'll come to the color and we'll paste it in there. There we go. So now basically what we have done is copied all the bump information into the color channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this thing on our brick wall. So I'm going to take that, drag that on there, and there we go. Let's just zoom up on that, do a quick render. And you can see how the bump is sort of giving the illusion that there's depth here. The more you increase the strength, the more it's going to look like you've got depth here. Okay? Problem is, where this really falls short is when you get to the ends. And if we click render here, you can see it just sort of stops here. So basically it's perfectly smooth, and we know it wouldn't be like that in real life. And that's the downfall of the bump channel. It works perfect for a lot of models that you would have where you don't have to get too close, and it can give the illusion of having depth. So if you need to go a little further than that and you're going to be getting up close to your models, maybe what you're going to need is the displacement channel. So let's double click on here. Let's go to the bump again. Let's copy that channel. Let's turn on displacement. We'll just paste that in there. And you can see immediately something's happening here. It's actually changing the geometry. Now I'm going to turn on subpolygon displacement and maybe kick that up to 10. And I think we can take this. Well, this is already up to 100. Let's go ahead and do a quick render and see what we have now. Okay, so we can start to see some irregularities happening here on the side. And let's get over here to a view like that. Let's just click on the picture viewer. And let's back this up a little bit. Okay. So this is probably a little bit more realistic and what we would expect to see in real life than just the smooth side that we get with the bump channel. Now, something you need to keep in mind when you're working with displacement is the object that you're working with needs to have plenty of subdivisions. That's why we kicked this up to 10, 10, and 10. So if you had an object that was at 1, 1, and 1, a cube, you're not going to get this same level of displacement. In fact, we can come over here and drop in a subdivision surface and put this underneath it so that we have more subdivisions here. And if we do another quick render, you can see it's preparing the displacement. So we get something a little smoother, but the displacement is a little bit better. Okay, so that's the basics of bump and displacement channels here in Cinema 4D.